I'm Anne Marie from Teacher to Teacher Help. In this video, I'm going to share a type of grammar lesson that taps into the power of using mentor texts. I first learned about this technique when I read the book Mentor Texts by Lynn Dorfman and Rose Capelli. I'll put the link to this book in the description below. So this is an activity where we take a mentor text, an excerpt from a mentor text, we read it, and then we copy change it or imitate what the author is doing. And in doing that, we're able to expose our students to all sorts of different sentence structures and just have conversations around different grammar conventions. So the example that I'm going to use is from this book, Shortcut by Donald Cruz. And I have an excerpt here from this book. This is the excerpt. I hear a train. Everybody stopped. Everybody listened. We all heard the train whistle. Should we run ahead to the path? Should we run ahead to the path home or back to the cutoff? Okay, so the first thing you want to do is show the excerpt to your students and then have them do some noticing and naming. And at first, they might not notice a whole lot. But as you do this activity over and over again, students will begin to notice more and more. So you might want to pause the video right now and just look at this excerpt and ask yourself, what do you notice? After you've done that, just listen to some of the things that I notice. So I notice that there are, number one, I see 5 sentences here. I see that there are some short sentences. I see that there's a longer sentence. I notice that some of the sentences end with periods, some end with exclamation points. Or one ends with an exclamation point, one ends with a question mark. I notice that there are 2 sentences here that are short sentences. They only have 2 words in them. What else do I notice? I notice these quotation marks. I notice that in this sentence, it has a subject and a verb, a subject and a verb. Okay? So these are just a few things. You could notice so many other things, and you'll want to guide your students. You can have conversations around parts of speech or types of sentences, specific words that are being used. Really, the sky's the limit. So you start out by just noticing the author's syntax, the author's craft, and then you do the invitation to do some imitating. Okay, so you want to always be able to see the original, and then you're going to give your students a prompt, which the prompt is going to be just the first sentence that looks exactly the same, only we've already copy changed it. So instead of I hear a train, it might be I hear a wolf. When you're doing this lesson, you want it to be a gradual release of responsibilities. So first, we showed an example. That's an I do. Okay, I'm just showing you an example. Of course, we did our guiding a conversation, so that was some we do there. We want to continue the we do into the composing of these sentences. So we want to do some noticing. So what do we notice about these first 2 sentences? Well, they're short sentences. They have a subject and a verb and a period. So we want to create 2 sentences here that follow this line, I hear a wolf, but only have 2 words in each sentence, just like the author Donald Cruz did. And then we'll go to the next sentence and then the next one. And in each one, we're going to notice what the author did and then copy change that. So maybe we end up with something like this. I hear a wolf. Everybody gasped. Everybody cringed. Instead of we all heard the train whistle, we all heard the long, low howl. Instead of should we run ahead to the path home or back to the cutoff, should we run ahead through the thicket or back to the campsite? So a little tip for you when you're doing this, you want to do this as shared or interactive writing, where you're inviting your students to compose the sentence orally and you're listening in, having them turn and talk. What we don't want to do is say, okay, who can think of the next sentence, and have students just raise their hands. Instead, we ask all students to think of what they might put next and then turn and talk to a partner. And then we could say, okay, so I heard this, I heard this, I heard this. How about if we do everybody gasped? Could we do next? They turn and talk. I heard. How about if we do this one? Everybody cringed. So the students are helping you compose this, but you are doing the transcribing. So gradual release. This is a we do. Eventually, you want to invite them to try it on their own, or maybe try it with a partner. So how about if you try this right now? Here's another one. I see the ocean. And you're going to do the same thing, copy change what the author did. We've done some practice where we've done some together, and then you invite them to do it either as partnerships or do it by themselves. So you might want to stop the video here, try this one on your own, and then turn the video back on and see what I have written. So here's what mine is. I see the ocean. Everybody clapped. Everybody smiled. We all saw the waves rolling toward the shore. Should we dash across the sand to the water's edge, or stand here to delight in the sunrise? What I hope you notice from doing this activity, first of all, it's highly engaging. We're engaging students by inviting them to notice a loved picture book that you have already, or it could be a chapter book that you have already read to them, a book that they enjoy. And now we're zooming in, we're doing some close reading, which we know is an important reading standard. So doing that close reading. And then we're inviting them to notice whatever they notice. But we're also, because we're doing this collaboratively, we are exposing students to even skills that maybe they didn't notice on their own. And then our ultimate goal is not that students can just notice or identify, but they actually can use them in their writing. By doing this over time, we are inviting students to try out different sentence structures, different syntax, and then we want them to start to transfer that into their writing. So this becomes an anchor experience that we can say, hey, how can we spice up your own writing if you have all these short, choppy sentences? Remember what we have been doing when we copy change an author's writing? We could try doing that in our own writing and invite them then to try out some of these different sentence structures. It really has the power to make student writing much more complex and to get them using, not just identifying, grammar skills that we need to teach.